As we look ahead to the future of voting in South Carolina, it's important to remember the past. News 19's Whitney Sullivan talked to a community advocate who has led generations to the polls.
At 106 years old, Elise Jones Martin has never missed an election.
If we know what the person is actually talking about, what he's going to try to do for us, then we should be the ones out there trying to put him in office.
Having voted since the 1930s, she's seen and experienced voter suppression.
They really tried to stop us from voting way back then.
Us meaning black voters who for decades were intimidated and discouraged from going to the ballot box.
In our area, of course, the black area, we had white poll watchers. They didn't have much to say, but you could tell that they were looking very close at what was happening.
Martin also remembers the time she and her fellow teachers were subjected to a literacy test in Richland County.
We walked in the door. There was this lady who was a white lady holding a paper, and she said, "Can you read?"
They were told they had to read the preamble before they could vote.
We decided that we would kind of memorize the first part because the first people who voted told us what was going to happen. And so we were expecting this lady to hold this paper up, and we would just get right up in her face and say what she wanted to hear. It's just great when I think about the fact that somebody's going to ask me if I can read. They wouldn't do that now. And if they did, they would be sorry, because we would be more outspoken about it than we were then.
While progress has been made, it's still not easy for her daughter, Loretta Green, to think of everything her mother had to endure just to be able to vote.
Clearly, if you teach school, you can read. To ask that kind of question, it's a demeaning question.
Knowing what her mother experienced, she knows the dangers of going backwards and minimalizing the fight that so many had to go through, even die for, so everyone could have the right to vote.
The black and white photos we show of people marching and for the vote and being injured trying to get the vote, it shouldn't just be a history lesson, because while we made great strides, I believe that through the years, there has been a more subtle effort to suppress the vote.
For Green, it's all about moving forward and building on the legacy of those before us.
I just hope that people realize that we all have a right to vote. And it doesn't matter about parties so much. It's about protecting our personal freedom to choose the people we want to represent us.
At 106 years old, Elise Jones Martin has never missed an election or the opportunity to remind people about the importance of voting.
I really think that the people understand now, and they are going to vote regardless of what is said or what is done to try to keep them from voting.
For News 19, I'm Whitney Sullivan.